everybody. It is nostalgia time once again, and we are going to be doing another restoration on the Dell Inspiron 5520. As you can tell, it is running Windows 7 Professional. It's been running 7 Professional for a while. And last time we tried running Windows 11 off of a USB flash drive, and which from those results with the ThinkPad, we only got to the boot screen and it was stuck there for like 5 minutes and I just gave up. With this, we were able to get much farther. We were able to get through setting up devices only for it to restart, and then it no longer detected the flash drive in the BIOS, which then forced it back into Windows 7. So, we're going to replace this copy of Windows 7 with Tiny 11, which is a slimmed down version of Windows 11. But what I want to try and do first is I want to see if I can upgrade Windows 7 to this release of 11. If not, then I'll just do a clean install. So really what Tiny 11 is it's a slimmed down version of Windows 11 that removes all of the bloatware like Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, that kind of stuff that usually comes with it. And then it also removes TPM 2.0 and some of the other stricter requirements. The question is, can we do a direct upgrade? Probably not, but let's find out. So the big question is, can we install Tiny 11 on this computer? And this is the latest version, I can tell by the black background. So what we're essentially looking at here is it's going to be like a OEM setup sequence, like if you use OEM recovery media from like Dell or something that I did on the Dell Inspiron 5700 laptop. It's probably going to act the same way. So yep, that's the language. And of course I accept the license terms, and then it asks where we want to install Windows. So we're going to delete the system reserved, and then this is Windows 7. So we're going to delete it. And there we go. We cleaned out the entire drive. Windows 7 is gone forever. And now we are kinda upgrading this computer to a slimmed down variant of Windows 11. Yeah, there's the startup sound, and that's a pretty slow animation, but overall, I am impressed with the way this is acting. This is, I believe, a 2012 i5. This had Windows 7 on it, and now let's see how well it runs Windows 11. So, of course, this is the typical out-of-box experience. Yes, we are, of course, in the United States. This is the right keyboard layout. We're going to skip it. And since there are no drivers, we can just tell it we don't have internet right now, because we do have the drivers on here, and we are going to install that after we set this up. So I am going to set it up as a local account for the time being. And we are not going to apply a password. However, I may end up doing so later. We're going to... I might keep the location on, just so I can get weather conditions and stuff like that. But I'm going to turn off all of the optional telemetry that Microsoft likes to do. That's what many people were concerned about with Windows 10. Almost there, and we are at the desktop. So, as I have said, this is just a plain old Windows 11 install, and look at that. A lot of the bloatware is gone. I mean, look at that. We don't get the well, we still have the Microsoft Store, but I mean, this is as slim as it can get. I mean, look at that. There is not much on the system. There's no calendar, there's no Outlook. I mean, we could install a bunch of stuff in the Microsoft Store, but we could do that separately later. So now we're going to install the drivers. So if 2012 era drivers can run on Windows 7 and Windows 10, can they do so on Windows 11? Well, let's find out. This is the Turbo Boost software that we're going to install first. And because it is Tiny 11, there's no rounded corners or anything of that nature. All right, and that is done. It requires .NET Framework. This is the Wireless Display Manager. And yes, we are not using the driver disk this time. We are using the drivers from Dell's website. This app cannot run on this device. Okay. Yeah, looks like that's the only theme we get. That's because this is, we can tell it dark, but the background does not change. So it looks like it's already activated, I can tell. And there's the default blue. I like that. And usually I like the accent color on the start menu and taskbar and on the window borders. And I believe this copy of Windows may already be activated. But let's go and take a look. We'll go to activation. And it says cannot connect. Yeah, so we need to connect to the internet before it can verify, so. But overall, I'm impressed so far. But again, the widgets will not work because we are not connected to the internet and we do not have a Microsoft account attached to this right now. All right, so let's move on to this application here. Wonder if any of these apps will run. Okay, it looks like this one will. So we're going to do the complete install. Okay. Next, the audio driver, the Kenexit audio driver. Remember, these are all of the original drivers that this computer came with. When it was shipped brand new with Windows 7, these are the same drivers. And I've downloaded all these from Dell's website, not the driver disk this time. And while that's going, we'll move on to the chipset. This is the first chipset driver. And I probably should change the time zone too, because I've been noticing the time is not correct. So settings, and then we go to time and language. And it's not in Pacific time, so we're going to change it to, I could change it to set automatically. Here, I'll just set it manually to Central Time. But the time, however, is not correct. So I'm going to have to turn this off for now. And I'm going to move it back an hour because that is not the right time. And we'll hit change. Okay, no, we're not going to restart the system right now because, again, we have other drivers to install. Next up is the chipset. Okay, it looks like this driver cannot install. So it looks like some of these drivers actually do work with Windows 11. However, there have so far been 2 that are not compatible. So next is the card reader. And then we're going to do the management engine. Then it'd be Dell Digital Delivery. And the Dell Security Update package. This installation will delete the Dell BIOS utility file from the system and uninstall the driver if installed. Press Y to continue. This is a plain copy of Windows 11, so I don't know if it's going to... The system does not have the driver. Okay. All right, so we'll exit that. The card reader is installed. And we are going to move on to Dell Update, which is Dell's updater tool. Here's the management engine. And then this is Dell Update. You gotta check that box and install. That is the management engine. We're gonna have to wait for that to finish before we continue. Seems to be going much faster than it did on Windows 7, or about the same. But so far, I'm impressed. And yeah, I can tell this is an older version because I don't see the bell icon. And usually in this area, I like to see the calendar. Okay, that is installed. And now we will continue with Dell Update, which of course, I don't know what version that'll be, but I'm sure it's going to be the one that came with this. Okay, that is ready to go. And there we go. We're already starting to see notifications from it. Tell me that it has been installed. Next is the Atlantic touchpad driver. We're going to skip the A7 BIOS because that is already installed. Let's see if this WiMAX works. Okay, looks like we cannot install the framework right now. Well, again, we can't install the framework right now because we do not have an internet connection. So I accept the agreement. Yeah, we need the internet connection in order to install that. So we're just going to set that aside and we will come back to it later. And just to avoid confusion, I'm going to move it to the desktop. No, we will not reboot Windows because we have many more drivers to install. We're going to move on to the network stuff. So this network application is next. This is the ProSet Bluetooth. And then there are network drivers. This is ProSet Wireless. And then, okay, that's ready to go. You accept the agreement and install. Okay. It looks like this is asking for the framework as well. So, what driver is this? Bluetooth. I'll cancel that for now. Well, we got what we needed, so. All right, was this that driver we just did? Want to take a look and see. Because I want to be sure that this is the one we just did. Okay, it looks like we did not do this one yet. So, actually there are two copies of the same thing. So here we go. This is the Ethernet controller. All right, so this is what we'll try again with later. And we are going to install. I see the display driver actually installed. Yep, I can adjust the brightness now. Yay! However, we have another problem. Now I have to go on a scavenger hunt for Windows 11 keys. Yay! Because I didn't know this was going to come with 11 Pro instead of 11 Home. What was I thinking? So that's great. Now I'm going to have two Windows 11 Home laptops, a Windows 10 Home desktop, a Windows 10 Pro laptop, and now a Windows 11 Pro laptop. This is going to be great. So now I'm going to have to go on a scavenger hunt. So now I know this won't work. So, how do I detach this from this install of Windows Administrator? You know what? I'll keep it. You know what? I'm going to keep it. Oh. Sign in with a local account instead. Yes. Windows needs to verify your identity. It's asking for a password instead of a code. Great, now I have to try again. Let's see if I remember. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm probably going to want to use it anyway. Edge wants to update. Let's see about the other updates for Windows. Then I just need to carry over the background. No. But sure, I'll stay signed into the browser. But now I gotta go on a scavenger hunt for keys. So we want 11 Pro. No, that's Pro N. This is standard Pro. Okay, there's an install and upgrade edition. This is RTM generic. Well, sure, we'll do that one. Activate. And we're going to change the key because there's no key on the system. And next. Okay, let's see if this works. Activate. As you don't have a valid license, you don't select troubleshoot. All right, I'm going to keep All right, let's go back to the game. Oh, I gotta stop it. Okay, so I am going to actually reinstall the operating system using the actual Windows 11 media from Microsoft, but I'm going to use Rufus to remove all of those requirements. And yeah, because I didn't set everything up correctly on here, it's going to eventually time everything out. But I'm excited that Windows 11 actually works very well on here. I'm very impressed. The only thing I'm going to do is remove the requirement. So that's all I'm going to do. And yes, we are going to make the Rufus disk. We do not have a product key. We're going to be setting that up later. Does it let us continue? Yes, it does. Okay. All right, so we're going to install 11 Home Custom because we are booted into the install media. We're going to clear the old install of Windows 11 Pro. All right. And now we're going to install this copy of the correct edition, Windows 11 Home. Ooh, it looks like it already detected the drivers. Nice. I'm going to call this... I'll claim this Inspire 5520. So next, and then it'll restart for those changes to take effect, and then we'll continue. So now we'll be brought to the Microsoft account screen, and in fact, I was actually introduced to a way you could skip signing in with a Microsoft account. I actually found this out. Like, you could try like a generic thing, like no@thankyou.com. So if you try something like that, it'll just, and then you can just put in a random password, and then it just says something went wrong. So that's how you easily bypass it. That's nice. Almost there. And here's the desktop. And yep, this is the standard install with the typical bloatware, of course. So, of course, there is the usual stuff. Spotify, WhatsApp. What's Camel Studio? I'm going to have to take a look at that. Ooh, Clipchamp. Yeah, I like Clipchamp. So, and I'll get rid of some of the unneeded apps. It says Windows reported that no product key was found on your device. Okay. All right, so I have been fiddling around with the product key scavenger hunt, because again, this is a refurbished machine. And interestingly enough, one of the keys that I entered, apparently I activated the Activate by Phone feature. Okay, and there we have it. After a while of fiddling around, we have finally figured out the activation process. And now we have a cumulative update preview, so let's go ahead and restart. So there we are. This Windows 11 install is almost set up and ready for use. So now I've got my Microsoft account linked to it. And of course, with that pin that we set up earlier, we can now change the theme to dark. Oh yes, I like the dark theme. So this is Windows 11 running on Windows 7 hardware. Well, hardware that was designed for Windows 7. We're all set there. Now we can begin installing apps. So I'm going to take a couple of them from my computers. So we're going to be installing Audacity and its FFmpeg library. And let's install VoiceMod with built-in microphone, because why not? So let's see, VLC, Audacity, and then of course we need an antivirus. So of course our antivirus of choice is Kaspersky. And we're going to go down, we'll find the older editions. And we want the latest Kaspersky Total Security. So this is Windows 11 on old hardware, and boy is this exciting. So this is an old i5. This is 8 gigs of RAM and a 64-bit system. But my goodness, it is doing amazing on this OS. Just amazing for old-fashioned hardware. But why are my apps not starting? Okay, there we go. All right, got VLC to start. Now we're going to launch Discord. We need Audacity first before we can open everything else. So we'll start the installer for VLC. We're going to install everything. And now that Audacity is installed, we can now install the FFmpeg library, which will allow me to convert movie files and other extensions for use on the program. And there it is. These are all of my folders. Okay, VLC is installed. And we'll go ahead and we'll start the install process for VoiceMod. Yeah, and I'll have to put the blue back on the window bars, and I'll do that later. So we'll accept, and we'll do all this and install. Now I don't want to store too much on here because there's only 128 gigs or 120 gigs of storage. So I better not be storing too much. All right. We do not want to take a tour. It looks like an extension was not found. Yeah, I can see there's a lot of runtimes missing. So, oh, it's trying to install. Oh, it's trying to install C++. So that's what it was trying to do. Now this is attached to our subscription. And now we can let it run its download. And let's see if VoiceMod opens even without C++, or does it need C++ in order for it to open? Because I thought it was supposed to come with all those repositories automatically. But I guess it doesn't. Okay. So, now I can do some finishing parts. I'm going to go ahead and perform my usual customizations. Usually I like the accent bar and the title bars. I usually like the bars that way. So now I'm going to need to go into Task Manager and disable a few things. I'm going to disable VoiceMod, which will run at startup. Also going to disable OneDrive, because I don't want that running on startup either. So, okay, those two are done. Let's see if there's any more. And that is it. There are no more updates to do. But let's verify that this is the latest edition. 2715. And on here, it is 2792. So I suppose there's a newer version. And yeah, this is they're still running the November cumulative update. However, this is the one that we just installed, the cumulative update preview that was released on Monday, the 4th. So Camo Studio is essentially like it's like a camera application. So, so I suppose it's like a social media platform or something. Okay, so that tells me the webcam does work. This actually may be good, so I'll install this. I'll install this one. None of the talking ginger stuff is on here. And it looks like my favorite game is not on here either. Oh, this is it. Deal or No Deal Plus, I believe this is. Because I believe that is the right one. So let's install it. Yep, that looks to be correct. And get from Amazon. No, I don't want to get it from Amazon. CapCut. It looks like I've already paid for it. So it seems like a lot of these apps, after I created this, it looks like a lot of this stuff looks like it told me I've already paid for a lot of it. So that is interesting. The next thing is the web apps, because I usually like to set up a series of web apps. Yes, I want this, I usually like this pinned to the taskbar and on the start menu. The next thing, Global Tuners is another tool that I use. I might end up using Google Maps on here, so if that's the case, I'll go ahead and install that. I'm going to go ahead and unpin any unnecessary stuff, like the store. I'm probably not going to go after that again. Settings, I may want to access that. I don't do Xbox. And I'm out of room. But we'll go down the bar and we can see the apps that I wanted are installed. Yep, that's exactly the one I requested. Yeah, it's going a little slow, but... So I believe it's taking feeds directly from live streams, I'm guessing. Environment testing. Your graphics card driver version is too old. It's strongly recommended that you update your driver. So now I can start creating my own stuff. I could do script to video. It's like everything I could do generated by AI. My new show, we'll call it Old Technology. Let's see what this thinks of it. So, yes. Let's see what artificial intelligence does. Are you tired of watching the same old shows? Yes. And then we can hit generate. And we can just generate it from materials. Alright, I have got the last pieces. So what's this doing? This is interesting. that was not the greatest. So we just need to make some final customization settings and we'll be good to go. And there you have it. That is Windows 11 set up on this Dell Inspiron 5520 laptop. So to wrap things up, we're going to do a little boot comparison of this Inspiron that we just set up and the Inspiron 7600, which I upgraded to Windows 11 about 5 months ago. So we're going to do a boot test between the two and see which one's faster. So both have equal speed, and that is what impresses me. That even though this took a little while to load the lock screen, this actually loads it the fastest because, of course, of how powerful it is. So that's impressive. Some of the drivers that actually were designed for Windows 7 actually work on Windows 11. And that is what I am impressed about. Even the login response time is fast. So that is what makes me happy, that even though this piece of hardware is not supported for Windows 11, it actually works just fine. And boy, am I impressed. So, let's see what this is about. Oh, that was a while ago. So with that, that is it. So we have done another successful restore on this Dell Inspiron 5520 laptop computer, and then now it'll be in my office along with the Vostro for most likely the foreseeable future. So in the next episode, and probably for all future episodes, so let's see what kind of OEM we'll take a look at next, and if so, then you'll see that next time. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.